greetings. Good day, my dear able subscribers. I really thank you for what you have been doing for me so far, and I want to use this opportunity to address on such a case people most find it difficult in their families, especially those people that just got married. So earlier, when you start to think about how people usually divorce, you will find it difficult to understand what makes them to divorce. Why? Because they do not have common understanding. That common understanding is what it initially makes them to divorce easily without knowing what the consequences may be occur. Now, let's just have some, or let me just call it little experience I've already gathered. When you love someone, assuming now that you are the first person that loves your wife very much, that you love her to the extent that even when she asks you to cook, you can cook, or when she asks you to wash clothes, you can wash it, and you'll be doing this for a while. And on the process of doing this, then your friend, your real friend and your closely friend noticed that this kind of thing is happening towards you and your wife, and he now be advising you to stop doing that. By the time you will listen to the advice and take it, you have already been the the problem. Why? You should not allow him to advise you on how you will operate in your own family. I know sometimes many people will understood it that washing a man washing clothes or cooking food while he already had a wife in the family is not normal, but sometimes you will do it for some reasons. So now doing it does not mean that you are a fool. It might be love you have for the person, or sometimes it might be very closely, or maybe sometimes the person out there might not know what makes you to do that kind of thing. They will just be judging it as you are just washing your wife's clothes or cooking, but they don't know sometimes maybe your wife is sick or something. He has a wound on her hand that will make her not to do such. So by listening to that advice, it's not normally good, but it's good in some reasons. So because sometimes when they give you the advice, you find it that it is very important to take it, but not take it serious at the initial time. Then you have to go and think. First of all, you will just use um a slowly situation, slowly interruption, slowly interaction. All these things, you will just use it slow to understand where your wife is leading you to before you start taking actions on it. Because sometimes it might be that we have already been doing it, so she now feel less concerned of doing that again. That she now find it as the work belongs to you. Now, that's not normal. If she just find it like that, then you have normal for you again. So by doing this in a family where this thing is doing, sometimes they may be finding it so difficult to understand that as outsiders. But don't mind them. Don't mind them. When you start to mind their ways, then you start to bring interruption between two of you because sometimes the love you had for the person might lead you to that. Imagine chatting your wife and telling your wife that without chatting you, man, that she feels so lonely. So that's why sometimes the way we have already showed her that you cannot do without her might lead you to that. Don't show everything up to her unless you want to threat her. So focus on what you're doing. Be assured of that this thing you're doing, you did it with passion. So I'll just end here. Just if you watch, comment, like, then in our next class I will teach you more. Thank you.